In a quiet village cradled by green hills, the rain had come softly that day, blanketing the earth in a shimmering veil. Elen, a child known for her curiosity, had always loved the rain. She would dart through the fields with her polished leaf, collecting droplets as though they were precious jewels. Each one seemed alive to her, holding secrets of the sky. That day, as the drizzle turned steady, Elen wandered further than usual. Beyond the familiar meadow, she found herself at the edge of the forest. Here the trees whispered in the rain, and the air seemed thicker with mystery. She held out her leaf, watching droplets form, slide, and gather. But one caught her eye, a tiny sphere, brighter than the rest, gleaming like a star. It seemed to contain more than mere reflections of the cloudy sky. Within its shimmering surface, Elen thought she saw movement, a flicker of green and gold. Heart-pounding with wonder, she tilted the leaf closer to her face, and the world shifted. The raindrop grew in her vision, expanding until it was all she could see. Then, like falling into a dream, Elen felt herself pulled into its depths. When her feet touched solid ground again, she gasped. She stood in a world that defied all understanding. Trees with crystalline trunks and rainbow-laden branches towered above her. The grass beneath her feet was soft and luminous, as though lit from within. A river coursed nearby, its waters singing a melody that seemed to resonate in her chest. The air was warm, filled with the mingled scents of flowers and fresh rain. Tiny creatures with gossamer wings flitted among the trees. They left trails of glittering light as they moved, their wings shimmering like liquid silver. In the distance, mountains of impossible shapes rose into a sky painted with swirling colors. Neither day nor night, but a blend of both. Elen's heart raced with excitement. She took her first tentative step, the ground responding with a soft glow under her bare feet. The world seemed to breathe with her, each step bringing her closer to its wonders. She wandered to the river's edge, where she saw fish with scales like stained glass darting through the water. The surface rippled with golden light, and as she peered closer, she saw her reflection. It was her, but different. Her eyes brighter, her expression filled with a joy she hadn't known she carried. It was as though the world saw her truest self and reflected it back. Beyond the river, Elen discovered a field of flowers, their petals shifting colors with the breeze. As she walked among them, they seemed to sway toward her, releasing a fine mist that sparkled in the air. The mist hung like tiny stars, and Elen felt her skin tingle as it settled on her. She laughed, a sound that blended with the wind, the flowers, and the river, as though she were part of the world's symphony. Further on, she came to a forest where the trees arched into one another, forming a vast cathedral. Light filtered through their crystalline leaves, casting patterns on the ground that shifted like living mosaics. Here, creatures larger than any she'd seen moved gracefully, their bodies translucent and their forms changing as they walked, at one moment like deer, at another like great birds or flowing rivers. They paused, regarding her with gentle curiosity, then vanished into the shimmering woods. Time felt different in this place, not linear but fluid, like the flow of the river she had crossed. Elen couldn't tell if hours or days had passed. The sky above changed colors, sometimes pale gold, sometimes deep indigo, with stars that flickered and pulsed like living things. Eventually she came to a mountain that loomed larger than all else. Its peak was shrouded in swirling mists, and its base cradled a still, glass-like pool. The pool mirrored the sky above, but as Elen gazed into its depths, she saw more than the swirling colors. She saw her own world, the meadow, the storm now past, and her polished leaf still cradling the raindrop. A profound sense of understanding washed over her. This world, vast and alive, was contained within the raindrop, yet it was as real as her own. And her own world, so familiar and solid, was perhaps just as small within a grander universe. Elen knelt by the pool, her reflection merging with the images of both worlds. She realized that to stay here forever would be to lose the connection to her own. The thought of leaving filled her with sadness, but also with gratitude. She had seen something few could imagine, As the sky above deepened into a starlit tapestry, Ellen placed her hand in the water. A gentle ripple spread, and the world around her began to dissolve, not vanishing but folding inward, as though she were being carried back along the same path she had come. When she opened her eyes, she was standing in the meadow once more. The storm had passed, and sunlight streamed through the clouds, turning the wet grass into a field of diamonds. The raindrop on her leaf quivered, then fell, soaking into the earth. Ellen stood quietly, the world around her both unchanged and profoundly different. The trees seemed taller, the air richer, and the sunlight warmer. She turned toward her village, carrying a secret she would keep close forever, that within the smallest things there are worlds waiting to be discovered.